To sever the ties between the living and the malevolent force within the mirror, the incantation, however, came with a warning of dire consequence for meddling with the forces that bridge the realms. As the clock struck midnight, Emily stood before the mirror, armed with incense and arcane symbols. The room pulsated with an otherworldly energy. As she recited the incantation, the mirror trembled, and the malevolent force unleashed a cacophony of anguished cries. Shadows twisted and contorted, resisting the ritual that threatened to banish them once and for all. In a blinding burst of light, the mirror shattered, sending shards scattering like fractured memories. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and Emily felt an eerie calm settle over the room. The malevolent force, bound for centuries, dissipated into the ether. As dawn broke, Emily surveyed the wreckage of the mirror. The echoes of the past silenced. The haunted mirror that had been a conduit to the shadows was now a shattered relic, its dark history laid to rest. Emily, bearing the weight of ancestral secrets, emerged from the ordeal forever changed. The estate, once steeped in darkness, now bathed in the morning light, stood as a testament to the enduring power of the past. The tale of the haunted mirror, with its chapters of inheritance, whispers, and unveiling shadows, became a haunting legend, one that would echo through the ages, a cautionary tale for those who dared to peer into the abyss of the unknown. Shadow's small town of Ravenswood was nestled in a valley, surrounded by dense forests, a place where the rustle of leaves and the creaking of ancient trees seemed to echo with secrets. In the heart of this town lived the Henderson family, a mother, Emily, and her 7-year-old son, Jacob. Their quaint cottage on the outskirts of town held an unsettling secret, one that would unravel the fabric of their peaceful existence. It all began innocently enough. Jacob, a bright-eyed and imaginative child, had an affinity for exploring the woods that bordered their property. Emily, a single mother who had moved to Ravenswood seeking solace and a fresh start, found comfort in the close-knit community. Little did she know that the shadows cast by the trees held something malevolent, waiting patiently for an opportunity to seep into their lives. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily called out for Jacob to return home. The woods, bathed in twilight, seemed to come alive with eerie whispers. Unbeknownst to Emily, her son had stumbled upon an ancient, dilapidated well hidden among the trees. As he approached, a chilling wind swept through the air, carrying with it the whisper of a named burial. That night, strange occurrences began to unfold within the Henderson home. Whispers echoed through the corridors, unheard by Emily, but audible to Jacob, who claimed to have made a new friend named Belial. At first, Emily dismissed it as a child's vivid imagination, but as days turned into weeks, she couldn't shake the feeling that an unseen presence had infiltrated their lives. Jacob's behavior became increasingly erratic. He spoke in hushed tones to an invisible companion, his once bright eyes now clouded with a distant darkness. Toes would move on their own, and the air seemed charged with an unsettling energy. Emily, torn between concern for her son and the disbelief of the supernatural, decided to seek help. Determined to unravel the mystery, Emily turned to the local parish priest, Father Matthias. The old church, with its weathered stone facade, held an air of sanctity that seemed to push against the encroaching darkness. Father Matthias, a man of unwavering faith, listened attentively to Emily's tale, his expression shifting from skepticism to concern. He agreed to visit the Henderson home, armed with holy water and a sense of duty. As he entered the cottage, the atmosphere became palpably heavy. Father Matthias blessed each room, reciting prayers to dispel any lingering malevolence. Yet, as he reached Jacob's room, an unseen force seemed to push against his efforts. The priest's eyes widened with realization. "This is no ordinary spirit," he muttered, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. "We are dealing with something far more sinister, a demon." As Father Matthias uttered the word, a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. The shadows seemed to coalesce, forming a shape that lingered for a fleeting moment before dissipating. The priest's conviction wavered, and he turned to Emily with a solemn expression. "The battle for your son's soul has just begun," he declared, his voice laden with a weight that hinted at the darkness to come. Little did Emily know that the whispers in the shadows were merely the prelude to a malevolent force that hungered for the innocence within her home. The demonic presence, now acknowledged, awaited the impending confrontation in the chapters to come. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that crept through the Henderson home, Emily sat in the dimly lit living room, her gaze fixed on the flickering flames in the fireplace. The encounter with Father Matthias had left her unsettled, and the weight of impending darkness pressed heavily upon her shoulders. Jacob, oblivious to the sinister presence that loomed over him, played with his toes on the living room floor. His laughter echoed through the room, a stark contrast to the heaviness that Emily felt. The sense of normalcy they clung to was about to be shattered as the malevolent force grew bolder, manifesting its influence in increasingly disturbing ways. That night, as Emily lay in bed, she heard a soft whisper in the stillness of the room. The voice was barely audible, a spectral murmur that seemed to seep through the walls. "Mother, why resist? Embrace the darkness, and your son will be free." Chilled to the bone, Emily turned to find Jacob sleeping peacefully beside her. The room, bathed in moonlight, felt like a sanctuary. But the whispers persisted. She shook off the eerie sensation, attributing it to the stress of the situation. Little did she know that the demonic entity, Belial, had taken a keen interest in her, a vessel through which it could manipulate and torment. Days passed, and the Henderson home became a battleground between the forces of light and shadow. Objects moved of their own accord, strange symbols appeared on the walls, and the air crackled with an unnatural energy. Emily, torn between a mother's love and the fear that gripped her soul, sought refuge in the only sanctuary left, the local church. Father Matthias, recognizing the urgency of the situation, agreed to perform an exorcism. The ancient ritual required meticulous preparation, and Emily found herself caught in a web of anticipation and dread. As the appointed day approached, the atmosphere within the Henderson home grew increasingly volatile. On the eve of the exorcism, a storm descended upon Ravenswood, thunder echoing through the valleys and lightning illuminating the sky. The Henderson home, cloaked in darkness, seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly energy. As Emily and Father Matthias began the ritual, The air thickened with the stench of sulfur, a sign that Belial was preparing to resist. The exorcism unfolded like a nightmarish ballet, a symphony of prayers and incantations clashing against the malevolent force that coiled around Jacob's innocent soul. The room vibrated with unseen forces, and shadows danced on the walls as the battle raged on. Jacob, caught in the crossfire, convulsed on the bed, his eyes rolling back as an otherworldly voice emanated from his small frame. "He belongs to me," it growled, a guttural sound that sent shivers down Emily's spine. Father Matthias, undeterred, continued his relentless assault on the demonic entity. As the exorcism reached its climax, the room plunged into darkness. Emily, her heart pounding, felt a searing pain in her chest as if an invisible hand were squeezing the life out of her. The voice within the shadows grew louder, taunting her with promises of release and freedom. In a moment of desperate determination, Emily found a reserve of strength she never knew she possessed. Clutching a relic passed down through generations, she stepped forward, confronting the malevolent force. "You have no power here," she declared, her voice unwavering. A blinding light erupted, dispelling the darkness that had taken root in the Henderson home. Emily's scream echoed through the night as the demonic entity recoiled, its power broken by the unwavering force of a mother's love and the faith embodied in the relic. As dawn broke, the storm subsided, leaving behind a sense of eerie calm. Emily, exhausted but triumphant, held Jacob close, feeling the weight of the darkness lift. Father Matthias, wearied but resolute, offered his blessings before leaving the Henderson home. Little did they know that the malevolent force, banished but not defeated, lingered on the fringes of their lives. The exorcism had quelled the immediate threat, but the true nature of Belial's agenda remained shrouded in the shadows. As Emily and Jacob sought solace in the aftermath of the harrowing night, they were unaware that the echoes of the demonic encounter would reverberate through their lives. In the final chapter of their haunting tale, in the wake of the harrowing exorcism, a fragile peace settled over the Henderson home. Emily, her eyes heavy with exhaustion, watched over Jacob as he slept soundly in his bed. The room, once a battleground between light and darkness, now bore the scars of the supernatural confrontation. As days turned into weeks, the town of Ravenswood gradually returned to its quiet, idyllic. For Wade, the storm that had engulfed the Henderson home became a distant memory buried beneath the routines of small-town life. But Emily, haunted by the lingering shadows of that fateful night, couldn't shake the feeling that the malevolent force had merely retreated, biding its time. Jacob, too, exhibited signs of a changed demeanor. The spark of innocence that once lit up his eyes seemed dimmed, replaced by a haunted gaze that hinted at experiences beyond his years. Nightmares plagued his sleep, and he spoke of whispers that persisted in the silence, audible only to him. Disturbed by her son's tormented state, Emily turned to the church for guidance. Father Matthias, having witnessed the resilience of the malevolent force, admitted that the battle was far from over. The entity, weakened but not vanquished, sought to reestablish its influence on the vulnerable soul of a child. The priest, with a somber expression, spoke of an ancient ritual of final confrontation that would sever the ties between Jacob and the demonic entity once and for all. The ritual required an unwavering commitment from Emily, a willingness to face the darkness head-on and confront the malevolent force that sought to claim her son. The Henderson home, once again a sanctuary for a brewing storm, became the focal point of the final battle. Father Matthias, armed with sacred relics and ancient incantations, prepared for the ritual that would either free Jacob from the clutches of Belial or plunge them all into an abyss of eternal darkness. As the ritual commenced, the air within the Henderson home thickened with an otherworldly tension. Emily, holding on to her faith and the love she felt for Jacob, stood resolute beside Father Matthias. The echoes of prayers reverberated through the rooms, creating a barrier against the encroaching shadows. Jacob, caught in the throes of the ritual, convulsed on the bed. The whispers grew louder, the voice of Belial taunting Emily with promises of despair and submission, yet she stood firm, determined to protect her son at any cost. In a climactic moment, the room plunged into darkness. The shadows seemed to come alive, contorting and writhing as if resisting the priest's efforts. Father Matthias, his voice unwavering, continued the incantations, each word a beacon of hope in the enveloping blackness. As Emily stared into the abyss, a figure materialized, a grotesque form that embodied the malevolent force. Belial, no longer confined to the shadows, confronted Emily with a twisted grin. "You cannot deny me," it hissed, its voice a cacophony of demonic whispers. The battle between light and darkness reached its zenith. The Henderson home trembled with unseen forces, the walls echoing with the desperate pleas of a mother and the unwavering resolve of a priest. In a blinding burst of light, the malevolent force recoiled, its form dissipating into the ether. Father Matthias, wearied but triumphant, offered a final blessing. Before leaving, he warned Emily that the malevolent force, banished but not destroyed, might linger on the fringes of their lives. The ritual had severed the immediate connection, but the true nature of Belial's agenda remained elusive. In the aftermath of the final confrontation, Emily and Jacob sought solace in the healing light of day. The scars of their supernatural ordeal would forever mark them, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit against the forces that lurk in the shadows. As the months passed, Ravenswood returned to its quiet routine. The Henderson home a silent witness to the secrets that dwelled within, yet Emily couldn't shake the feeling that the lingering shadows were a testament to the fragile boundary between the natural and supernatural realms. The tale of Emily and Jacob, a story of resilience and sacrifice, became a whispered legend in Ravenswood, a cautionary tale for those who dared to confront the malevolent forces that lurked in the shadows. And so, as life returned to normalcy, the Hendersons carried with them the knowledge that the true battle against the darkness transcends the physical, echoing through the corridors of the soul.